The home of the Melbourne Storm, AAMI Park, aptly named after the insurance company, who guarantees a $5,000 payout to each fan if they fail to reach the semi-final each year. The success of the Melbourne Storm is truly baffling. This is a club who birthed arguably the greatest player of all time, a club who has made the top 8 24 times since 1998 and the Grand Final 10 times. But the biggest question of all, and I honestly mean this sincerely, the biggest question of all about AAMI Park, why are there so many seagulls on this ground during the broadcast? If you've ever watched a Melbourne Storm game, it's like friggin' beach over here. There's seagulls everywhere. I don't know if someone's like having some fish and chips on, they've chucked some chips on the ground. Mate, the seagull action at AAMI Park is wild. It's like Bondi. It's what, like, maybe this, what are they building here? Is this a new, maybe they're building something to keep the gulls away? Is this anti-gull technology? Are we seeing the markings here of some sort of gull device? It's insane. If you've never noticed it before, mate, a lot of seagulls at a Melbourne Storm game. A lot of seagulls. Okay, taking out all the accolades and the fact that betting on the Storm to make the top 8 is nearly as certain as the sun rising tomorrow, one of the crowning achievements of this place is that weird bronze statue that they built of Cam Smith and Billy Slater at the front. It resembles more like a Quasimodo than a rugby league player, and I've been trying to find it, but I cannot find it. If you haven't seen this thing, it's akin to... You guys remember the Cristiano Ronaldo statue that they built of him and his face was all deformed? I reckon the same guy that did the Cristiano Ronaldo statue did the Cam Smith and Billy Slater statues. Dude, they're so bad. They're so bad. Oh, God. Nearby, all right, you'll find the MCG. Let's just zoom out a little bit here. This is the MCG, the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Ooh, birthplace of Test cricket, built in 1853, and Old Punt Road, right, where at any time during the season you'll probably find more people lining up on the fence here to watch Richmond train than you will at a Melbourne Storm semi-final. So look, Melbourne is not exactly an NRL town. There's no way around it. This is an AFL town. It's a completely dominated AFL town. But AAMI Park is a sick stadium. Like, it truly is an awesome stadium. Look where it's located. Like, look how close to the city this thing is. You can literally, I'm over here, right? I'm meeting up with some fellas. I'm having a couple beers, whatever, get some food. I just toddle off down this road here. I walk over here. I literally can walk to the stadium, and then I'm at the stadium. In Sydney, you've got to catch oh man, so many trains. If you're going to go out to Olympic Park in Sydney, it's a nightmare compared to this. This is going to get, in all honesty, AAMI Park is going to get a high rating because it's just such a high quality sporting area. Like, the whole area is sick. Like, let's have a little look around here. If you guys don't know what this all is on the left-hand side here, this is the home of the Australian Open, right? So where my cursor is, I'll zoom out. All of this Melbourne Park precinct, this is where they do the Australian Open. Okay, so this is where the final is held. This is Rod Laver Arena in the centre here. This is Margaret Court Arena on the side here. And then all these other courts here are used during the Australian Open for sort of different games, right? You can watch people practice on the show courts down here. It's such a sick precinct, man. Like, look how they've sunken the courts into the ground, and they've built up the stadiums like that. Like, visually, this is such a cool place. Design-wise, this is sick. Sydney doesn't have anything as cool as this. Like, no way does Sydney have anything as cool as this. This part in the middle here, especially, this is sick. So during the Australian Open, and I know this is not about AAMI Park, blah, 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 but whatever, right? This pumps, mate. This pumps. There's people having beers here. There's like live music. They show all the games on big screens. If you've never been to the Australian Open, 100% go. It's so good, dude. It's so good. All right, anyway, back to AAMI Park. We're getting off topic here. Back to AAMI Park. This is AAMI Park in the middle here. A little bit of history about this place. So this was originally called Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. which, I mean, let's get real here. It's a rectangular stadium. So, yep, nice. Tick that box. It's a 30,000 seat capacity. So it's kind of like a mid-sized stadium. Allianz would be about 50. Accor is like 80. So this is kind of like the same size as a Combank Stadium for the Parramatta Eels home ground. You know, it's that nice mid-sized stadium. It is shared by a bunch of different teams. So you can see the markings on the field right now. This is a soccer pitch. And that's because Melbourne City, Melbourne Victory, and Western United also share this ground, along with the Melbourne Rebels, which is the rugby union team. If anyone ever goes to those games, I literally have no idea about rugby union, which is pretty sad. Let's just have a look at a couple of reviews for AAMI Park here, because they're pretty positive, right? They're pretty positive. Every episode we read some reviews, and we make sure to get a good cross-section of the good ones and the bad ones, because, you know, life's not always rosy. But these reviews are pretty good, right? Great stadium, this person has said, with stunning Melbourne city views. And they are right. They are stunning city views. If I can get this keyboard to work. Stunning views of the city, right? This is by far the nation's best football stadium. Pretty high praise. The honeycomb roof design protects spectators from rain without an official roof. So yeah, really good design, right? This person said the stadium itself is amazing, has a great design, lights, colouring, and the seats are all seated in a vertical manner, so everyone gets a good view. However, they have said, the atmosphere at a Storm game is very poor. The announcer is rude and doesn't bother to announce the away team players. The mascot sets an extremely bad example for children, taking a stuffed animal from their opponents and jumping on it and doing wrestling moves to degrade it. Okay, interesting. I'm very surprised the NRL allow this. The majority of the fans are very aggressive when their team loses. And I have even been kicked out of my paid member's seat by security for cheering for the opposition team. This person's pretty salty. No, obviously not a Storm fan. Okay, they've said the stadium is great, but the experience you have there is affected by the poor club culture. From the violently angry coach Craig Bellamy to the poor sportsmanship players Cameron Munster sets on the field for both adults and child fans alike. Wow, okay, so a bit of a drive-by there on Craig Bellamy, who is the coach of the Melbourne Storm, and Cameron Munster, who is one of their star players. And look, I'll give it to him. Craig Bellamy is a full-on dude. He is a psycho, right? Craig Bellamy famously is one of the most intense and animated coaches in the NRL. Craig Bellamy, all right, he's like the living embodiment of that song. What's that song? Ava Max, Sweet But a Psycho. Craig Bellamy is the Ava Max song, Sweet But a Psycho. He's a nice guy, but he's a psycho. You know, he's a sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho, and now he's screaming, monster. That's how it goes. That's the new club song. Now you're screaming, monster. All right. Craig Bellamy, he's a psycho. But I get it, right? Who cares? He wins, so who cares, man? This person has said, I love my beloved AAMI, home of Storm. Oh, wow. Okay. I give it a 1, as I'm overseeing the young catering staff with long fingernails that they can't operate the register or give change. Oh, no. And between sales, stand there clearing her nails. Please keep your nails short. Very fingernail-specific review here for the Melbourne Storm, right? That's a very specific review, and I think we can sort of put that down to one person just having a bad time. Now, look, to wrap things up, Melbourne Storm. We've talked about the area, right? We've got the MCG, we've got Punt Road where Richmond train. We got this is the precinct for the Australian Open. We've looked at the rectangular stadium, 30,000 seat capacity. We've talked about the psycho coach, Sweet But a Psycho, Ava Max, aka Craig Bellamy. Let's talk a little bit about 2025 season, right? I think 2025. And I know everyone's going to hate me to say this, but it's going to be another successful year for the Storm. Yes, everyone says this every year. They've gained Stefano from the Tigers, who's a gun. And I believe, honestly, that he probably didn't reach his potential at the Tigers. And under Bellamy, he's going to be even better. He could be a lot better. And if Pappenhausen can stay fit and Jerome Hughes and Munster play well, realistically, considering that Jerome Luai has left Panthers, I would say, and it pains me to say this, that the Storm are favourites to win the comp next year. That's it for today's episode. That's AAMI Park, home of the Melbourne Storm. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.